Can you put the next button on a different place on every slide so people can't click through this course so fast? Yeah, that's real. One of the testers gave me that as feedback on a project a couple of years ago. And it might be the most honest thing anyone ever said to me about e-learning. Because think about what they just admitted it. Nobody wants to be in that course that we've built. So instead of fixing that, we hide the next button. Completion still says 100%, and we both know that the number is worth nothing. And now everyone wants to blame AI. But AI didn't do this. I've been seeing this exact problem for over 20 years, long before AI. And if you're honest, so have you. And it has a name. It's the one debt that you can never pay back. And it, not AI, is quietly killing online learning. So let me give it to you. But before I hand you the name, look at where everybody's pointing nowadays. Every blog post, every YouTube video, every conference, someone's watching a screen fill itself with a finished course, and then they're scrolling their own job title just to check if it's still there. And don't mistake me for the guy who hates AI, because I don't. I built an adaptive math game with it for my kids' class, and the class average went up a point. So this isn't about fear talking, but while you are watching that door, something you built with your own hands has been doing the real damage quietly for years. And here's what the AI panic gets wrong. It assumes that the real threat is speed. So whoever builds fastest wins. So you raise better prompts, faster decks, more modules in a week. Fix it. So what got checked? The deadline, the SCORM file, the completion report, and not whether it changes anything. So you didn't fix, and AI didn't fix that. It multiplies it. Every course you ship carries a decision you made and never wrote down. Why this order? Why this example? Why an interaction here and a scenario there? Ship it, move on. The reason it evaporates and nobody notices. The course still runs, still looks fine, still everybody's completed it. A finished course that nobody remembers isn't training, it's a compliance receipt. So stop watching the AI door. Something quieter has been eating your work for years and you never had a word for it. So what is it? Two examples first, because I know you lived both. An employee at a big bank told me a few years ago, flat out in a project meeting, those trainings with endless videos, I open them on my second screen and I guess on the questions that come after it. And usually I get them right. And the next button note, same confession from the other side of the desk. Two people telling you nobody wants to be in the thing that you've built. Completion still reads 100%. So why do you call the gap between everybody completed it and nothing changed? Now for years I didn't have a word for it. I feel it, a finished course that thought nothing, and I blamed the budget, the timeline, or myself. But I gave it a name. I gave it didactic depth. And I need to be precise, because it's easy to hear it as bad e-learning, but it's not. Bad e-learning you can spot a mile off. The wall of text, the quiz you can pause by clicking next, the one that looks clean, it passes review, everybody finishes, and you can't see a thing. Didactic depth is the way behind the course, not just why this order or that example, but the real one. What was anyone supposed to do differently after this? Sometimes that why get lost. Sometimes it was never even asked and the course works. The reason it exists is missing, and you only find out when someone has to change it, explain it or trust it, and there's nothing underneath. That's didactic depth. Bad courses are only the symptom, the missing why is our disease here. Now, easy to call this an AI problem, but it isn't, and I can prove it. Because I built this depth myself, years before AI existed. 4 micro-learnings about quality. They were clean, on-brand, and everybody passed them. But a couple of months ago, nothing moved, no AI in the room. So if AI didn't cause it, what did it actually change? Not what you think. So you probably already pinned this on AI. It's flooding the market with gym courses, right? AI didn't invent this depth, it only gave it a printing press. Before you could only build so much slop by hand, 4 modules took me weeks. And now, 1 prompt, 1 day, a couple of modules. Each one carrying the same missing why at scale. The depth didn't change, but the speed did. And if you've been building a while, there's a thought that creeps in around here. A quiet one, maybe I'm just rigorous enough for this. But here's the truth. Nobody ever asked the real question. So you got a deadline, an SME, and they said, make it a course. Nobody asked what people were getting wrong or whether a course would even fix it. So what got checked? The deadline, the SCORM file, the completion report, and not whether it changes anything. So you didn't fail, you did exactly what you were asked. And the depth came. So don't hang this on AI. And don't hang it on yourself. We've all been racked up the same debt for years. But here's what makes this one different from every other shortcut that you've ever taken. We all build this, sure, annoying but fixable, right? That's the part I need you to sit with, because it's the one debt you don't get to pay back. One more real moment. An ID on a project asked me, why does this policy becomes before the cases? My answer, the tool built it that way. Read that back. I shipped the design decision and my reason was a shrug. And your instinct right now is the reasonable one. I'll go back and clean it up when there's time. That's what you do with every other mess. So line it up against every other debt you carry. Technical debt, messy build. You refactor it. Painful but reversible. Cognitive debt, you overloaded the learner, you cut, you chunk. Learning debt, you left a gap, you added the missing piece, all of it, and you paid back. But because the thing you need is still there to find. What a why that was never written down, the day the person who made the call is gone. Reorganization, new job, just plain forget. So it's gone with them. You can't refactor a reason that was never recorded. You can't reverse engineer intent from a finished slide. And no, I'm not saying document everything Eddie Binder style. I'm saying the one thing worth keeping is the one thing that we throw away. So every other debt, you get a second chance. But this one, you get none. And that's the quiet killer. It's not AI, so the real question is how to pay it back. It's what you keep before it's gone. So what do you keep? Sounds like a reason to panic, but it's the opposite. Because the one thing that pays this down is the one thing AI can't touch. Watch what happens when you stop asking your SME what do they need to know and start asking what do people get wrong here and why do they think they're right. That question can't be generated, it's judgment, and that's you. So flip this fear around. Everyone scares AI takes the building, but let it. The building was never our moat. The part you were afraid of losing, deciding what actually has to change and writing down why, that's the part no model can touch. That's not the work disappearing, that's the work that finally becomes visible. And it can be tiny, one line next to one decision, policy before cases. Because the adjuster hits the policy first on the floor. And that's a design ledger. Do it on the calls that matter and the debt stops compounding. So, one question, and I read every reply. What's one course you shipped where you honestly can't say why it's built that way it is? Name it, and that's not a confession, that's the first decision you get to write down.